Lawin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates. In the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawin Media Network.
All right, good evening, Texas, good evening, USA, and welcome to episode 7 or 8 of season 5 of Be Bold, Why Not? You are watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, stream.lawin.live, and twitch.tv. And of course, our show is brought to you by Lawin Media Network. And to all our viewers from the Philippines, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat dyan. I hope you won't get to miss our show because we had a change of time. So in the Philippines, it's supposed to be 9 a.m. as we go live. Unlike last time, it was 10 a.m. So anyway, welcome to another episode of Be Bold. You know, we're here every week to inspire you, empower you, and just be there for you, that we are able to share beautiful stories from legendary speakers from all over the United States. I am so privileged and blessed to have met these wonderful people who are willing to share their beautiful stories so they can share the lessons that they've learned all throughout their lives, and so that they can inspire you and help you get through whatever struggles or challenges that you are going through. Of course, tonight we have another very special guest. I'm so happy and glad that she said yes to my invitation. I know their time is valuable, all the guests that I have here, but they're just so here to inspire us and just encourage us and empower us. But before we get her in, I would like to just say some few words about her, or let me introduce her. Let me see here. So our guest tonight is Ms. Alicia Pozsony. Wow, I did it right? I pronounced it right. Anyway, Alicia is a trained and certified by one of the world's best motivational speakers, Les Brown. Alicia brings a dynamic blend of expertise and inspiration to her speaking engagements. With additional training from Tony Robbins, yes, and Lisa Nichols, Alicia's background is steeped in the teaching of empowerment, resilience, and personal development. Her experience includes empowering leaders, where she shares her insights on overcoming, aligning with authenticity, and achieving abundance. As an accomplished author, coach, and radio show and podcast host, Alicia's speaking style is marked by compelling storytelling, empathy, and actionable strategies, leaving a profound impact on audience worldwide. As a motivational speaker for businesses, schools, resorts, and communities, she speaks on topics of achieving success. Wow. So we're going to learn about success from her tonight. Her speeches, courses, and her self-help book, Emotional Strength Explained, help people in all areas of their life. Alicia also inspires the world as a radio journalist, author, life coach, career coach, resilience expert, mental health advocate, and as a society writer for Transatlantic Today magazine. Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Alicia on the show. Sorry about that. Alicia,
Hi, MJ. Hello, MJ. Thank you so much for having me.
oh, thank you. Thank you for saying yes to our invitation. I know you probably have a busy life just I do because we're not doing this like in our free time, right? I mean, we have a full-time job and everything. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you and good evening to you. First of all, let us know where you're from.
Yes, thank you. So I come from New Jersey, from the Eastern Coast. I am here, born and bred all my life. I've been around the tri-state area, so we moved around a lot, especially when I was young. But for the most part, I'm here in the central part of our state. We're very
Mhm.
fortunate because we have a lot of mountains and cities. We have New York, which is just 45 minutes away, and we have Philadelphia, which is 45 minutes away. We're right in the middle. I feel this is a great place if you ever want to come to visit New Jersey.
Nice, nice. Well, I've been to New York. My daughter attended a convention there. So we've been there. But yeah, it's kind of cold. I don't know. I like the tropical weather. you know, Being raised in the Philippines, which is a tropical country, I think I like the Houston weather. But no, yeah, we just had a change of time too. So I know it's like a little bit late over there, but again, thank you. So you said you moved around a little bit when you were growing up. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. Today you see me as a successful coach, author, speaker, and I have to share I was not always that way. When I
Mm-hmm.
was younger, my parents were separated and I was abandoned by my father at the young age of 5. I then grew up with my mother, who I knew something was different, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Finally, I realized that things that she was dealing with were not normal. I
Mm-hmm.
had to feel scared and alone through most of my childhood. And we moved around a lot because she couldn't keep a job. She was
Mm-hmm.
mentally ill. And
Oh.
as a result of that, I lived life as an adult, as a young child. I had to be responsible and kind of care for myself a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved around a lot. Later on, she remarried, and there was a man who became my father at that time. He was very well established in the community. He was a police detective, and
Mm-hmm.
he was someone to look up to. So I think that's where I got a lot of my strength and my leadership qualities from him.
Mm-hmm.
But even then we had to move because in his job he was undercover, so we had to move, so for his safety and for our safety. So it was an interesting, I think I had attended 17 schools before I had reached high school.
Wow. I mean, well, thank you for sharing that to us. Because, it's all about our stories that, as you said, we see you as a successful author, speaker, motivational speaker, and podcast host, and all that, and writer. But we have experiences from our childhood up until who we are now that definitely had helped shape us. So during those years of your traveling and moving around and all that, who or what were the most important lessons that you've learned from that kind of experience, of a childhood experience?
Yeah, one of the things that I enjoyed as a child was going to the library. When I was young, I found safety and solace in the library. I was able to read books and win awards at the library as a child, but it carried through. It really helped me. So I learned that we could find knowledge and things in books that could help us and help in many ways, even things that surprised us along the way. So
Mhm.
I think that no matter what's going on in your life, if you have a chance to learn, you should really do that, because learning is something that's going to help you in so many ways.
Oh my goodness, that is so amazing. Every episode I just learned so many interesting things, from all our guests. And as you said, not even those adversities had stopped you from learning. And
That's right.
I've heard it a lot that adversities are actually a privilege, because of your experience, because of moving and unstable from having come from quite an unstable family. You learn to mature at an early age. You learn to find things and learn things your own way until you've actually had that father figure. So would you say that all your childhood, would you share us who are the most influential people during those, years of your life that you had to go through all those struggles and challenges?
Well, the early years, my mother was my only source of strength, even though she was not at her best and she didn't do everything that maybe she should have. She wasn't the type of mother where we were baking cookies and growing flowers in the backyard. She was more the type to just have those special moments and acknowledge that they were special. So living in the present and being mindful was something I guess she had to do when she had those moments of clarity, and therefore that's what we had. So I have great memories of walking downtown with her or walking to the park and feeding the squirrels. We had nice moments together where we were smiling and laughing, and I just remember those with such fond moments. Those helped me to have strength when I was in the not so comfortable situations. She had me walking 19 blocks through city streets, past garbage and disease and fighting and violence at a young age, going to the wrong school.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't find out until months later when I came down sick and they didn't have a way to contact my mother because we didn't have a telephone.
Yeah.
So they let me go walking home sick and didn't told me don't come back here. So
Wow.
I ended up telling my mom we found the right school, which was just 3 blocks away. And from there, I moved, but that was yet another series of situations. Being the minority in the school made it difficult for me, not only by the kids, but also the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I think my next person that I would say was a good person for me, someone who I could learn from, was my 6th grade teacher. His name was Robert Love Bethia. And I
Mm-hmm.
always mention him because although he's not living here with us today, he has passed, he
Mm-hmm.
taught us that we collectively as a class were a team. And so I learned then that there was hope, that people could get along and that we could work together. So I learned that there was hope for a possibility of something better.
Mm-hmm.
That was the next person who was there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, not really having much, I relied on books, I relied on faith because I did have a belief in God.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just made it my own personal plan to get through and get by, get to the next day. I knew even back then that I was made for something more.
Wow, that's amazing. At an early age, at a young age, you knew you had a purpose, that you were actually going for your meaningful pursuit, and you learned to read and all that. And now it's working. Now you're a writer, you're a speaker, what else can we ask for? That's why I believe that all these experiences that we have are parts of God's plan for our future, right? Because without those, we wouldn't build the character, the resilience, that the hard work, the strength, the courage, right? All these adversities actually shape us to become better versions of ourselves. Because I know each one of us has this struggle stories to tell. I mean, there's no person in this world that have not experienced any type of adversity, right? So it's part of life, and that's what God is helping us get through so we can help other people, right? So anyway, we
Mm.
already are at 8:15. See, it's going so well. I'm really enjoying it and learning so much. But before we move on, we have to go on our first break. So see you after a little bit. All right, we're back. And I forgot to mention earlier, Alicia, but with our viewers, we have a game. Like the more comments they make, the higher their chance of winning something at the end of the show. So, um, I'm just gonna read some of the viewers' comments. Okay, so we have Rochelle De Seco. Good evening, Mom MJ. Good evening to you as well. And then we have Cicel Quario. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening as well. We have Ara Kilman Ungria. Hello, Mom MJ and Mom Alicia watching from Pangasinan. Thank you so much. And we have Jingle Romero. Good evening, Texas, watching from the Philippines. Yes, yes, thank you. And of course, we have Ramer Quario. Good evening, Mom, watching from Pangasinan. And we have Rose Taruk Miranda. Good evening, Texas, watching from Pampanga. Very nice. We have Geraldine Garcia. Hello, Mom MJ and Mom Alicia, watching from Laguna. Yes, thank you so much. And we have John Jeric Arcangel. Good evening, Texas. Mom MJ watching from Muntinlupa. Wow, we have new viewers here. That's amazing. Thank you so much. You know what, Alicia, as you were telling me about how you moved so many times growing up, I can relate. I can totally relate. We moved also from like probably ever since I was born up until I graduated from college. We moved probably 5 or 6 times because
Mm.
we did not have our own place. We didn't have a house of our own. We lived in relatives' houses. We rented up until I left the Philippines. We didn't have any property, no land, nothing. So
Mhm.
so I grew up in poverty, and just like you, those experiences actually were inspiration for me. They were
Mm.
motivation for me to do better and to strive and to just have a dream and focus on that dream, that I will change the trajectory of our lives. Like I was the one. I knew I was
Mm.
the one in my family that actually will make a change and help my siblings. So let me ask you, do you have siblings?
I had a half sister, but unfortunately, we didn't see things the same. We
Mm-hmm.
had different values, different morals. And so that was a break in my life. Not only the first time when she went to live with her father as a child, my mother actually signed custody away. And she didn't, I don't think she knew she was doing it, but if she did know, she thought that my sister was better with her father because my sister was from Ecuador and she was
Mm-hmm.
dark skinned, dark hair like her father, but I was light skinned like my mother. And
Mm-hmm.
so my mother, I think, knew at that time that she was not able to care for another baby. And maybe that's why she gave her to the father. So I lost her at a young age. Then when we had an adult relationship, unfortunately, we didn't see eye to eye. I'm kind of mild-mannered and I have a strong faith in God, and my sister took a different route in her life. So we were close for a number of years, but then we came to a point where we realized we were just on two different tracks. So we separated.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that's something that I think many people can relate to when relationships don't go your way, or maybe you just don't see eye to eye. One of the things that I often think about is a quote by Maya Angelou. I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it.
Wow. I mean, that is so powerful. Yes. Because whatever happens to us, it's not happening to us, it's happening through us, right? Because those actually would make us as better person. Those can elevate us depending on how we actually respond and
We
to the
respond.
to the situations, right?
Yes, I love that, MJ. That's exactly right. So that's what I saw in my life, that I chose to respond differently. I could have very easily gone down dark paths or gotten in trouble. And I always saw a way to go different than other people that I knew. So I was able to take those choices and make a choice based on what I knew was right. I don't know how to say it, but that's pretty much what I ended up doing throughout the course of my life.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Yeah, just like you. I grew up in poverty. I was a battered child. My mom was a battered wife. I mean, we life was hard. Life was difficult. And a lot of times these adversities actually, as you said, your sister went the wrong way, and because of God's guidance you chose to follow the path, and here you are. You came out as an overcomer of those adversities
Mm.
in life. And I love it because you have that in your bio, like overcoming.
It-
Yeah.
it-
So can you explain that more about the overcoming thing?
yeah. So in this journey of this life we live, and it's a journey for all of us. So in this journey, the greatest takeaway that I would love to leave with this world is that you can overcome. It's never too late. And so there's things we go through, and when we have this resilience that gets developed based on what we've been through, our challenges that we faced, and the ability to get back up, this is what makes us stronger and makes us really get to a point where we can get to something that's good. So in this world, I have overcome challenges. They ask me, what is your biggest story? I tell them there's so many things. I don't know what the biggest is. They ask me, what was your first challenge? Well, I was born a premature baby, 1 pound, 11 and a quarter ounces. I
Oh,
had to fight for my life. My doctor said that I wouldn't survive to the age I'm living now. And so when you ask me about my challenges, I have had them from the beginning. So,
wow. Oh, you
and
are
I,
a miracle. You are a living testament of God's greatness and miracle. 1 ounce, 1 pound. I mean, sorry, 1 pound.
1 pound,
Oh
11 and a
my
quarter, so under 2 pounds. But
God.
back when I was born over 50 years ago, it was not common for those babies to survive. And it's true. My mom called me her miracle baby.
Yes, and you are. You truly are. So, yeah, overcomers. Because we have a lot of our viewers, probably from most of our viewers are from the Philippines, and life in the Philippines is not easy. We are like a third world country. So, I came from a very poor family. I could imagine there's a lot of areas in the Philippines that don't even have the basic needs. Like they don't have good living situations and all that. But you know what really inspire us? That's like I can
Mm,
relate to most of our viewers, because poverty did not stop me, you know.
mm,
Actually, poverty was the fuel for me to go through those challenges, and just I stayed focused that yes, I'm gonna make my life and my siblings' life better and easier, and my parents' lives. So
mm.
that was the inspiration for me. That was the fuel for me to get better and to improve and to just work harder. So I see that you also are like, you were taught or you were trained by Tony Robbins, because I know one thing I hear from him is like, he says the bigger the challenge that you go through, the deeper is the lesson, right?
Mm, mm,
That's
yes,
what he
yes.
says too. Yeah. So what do you love most about, about all these gurus that you've been trained by, like Les Brown and Tony Robbins? Yeah, can you share us the best things that you've learned from each of them?
Yeah, it's so hard to put. If I think about it, let me tell you a little bit about my journey to this
Yes.
speaking world and being a person who's motivational. When I was younger, I would read books, as I mentioned, and I read books on different topics and stories. I read about Helen Keller. I read about people that were impoverished or in situations that they had to overcome. Unbeknownst to me, I gravitated toward the movies that were about those topics. When I met people, I would always ask what is their challenge, and I kind of learned from it. So all my life I've been learning from stories, movies, and people. So when I became at an older age in my late 40s, I had written my memoir. I wrote the story of my life. I didn't publish it, so it's not out. I keep saying this, but but it's true. I want to make it something big. So what
Yeah.
happened was, I people who read it, they said, "Oh my God, how did you turn out so well?" And when I put some thought to it, that's when I created the book, Emotional Strength Explained. It's a workbook to help someone overcome challenges in 30 days, to
Mhm.
help if they're not ready for therapy or they can't afford therapy. So if anyone is listening, watching, if you want a copy of this book, just let me know. I will get it to you. But Emotional Strength Explained was the book that started my journey. From there, I got to be on a radio show, and I met with authors and celebrities and sports figures, people who were talking about topics of resilience. And the things that they had in common were the same strategies, using mindset and a positive attitude and a plan. So, with those three things, they were able to overcome any challenge, whether it was a heavyweight fighter competing for a top role in their career, whether it was a person trying for a movie, an actor, and they couldn't get the part, whether it was no matter what walk of life they were, they all had the same things. They
Mhm.
had learned that they can come back, they can bounce back and grow through whatever they were going through, that they could stop making excuses and stop hiding under the fear they were facing and get to the next goal. So
Mhm.
in all of that, I realized that there's a whole potential that maybe I never tapped into, despite the fact that I was able to do things and overcome. I realized there was more. And that's when I found Les Brown.
Mhm.
Now, some people heard about Les Brown because he was one of the motivators from a long time ago. He was famous in his own right, and he was very good at what he did. But I never heard of him until 2 years ago. So I applied to go through his training program. Never did I think I would land on his stage in Miami. And that's one of the things where Les Brown comes at you with such real, candid feeling that taps into your soul and brings it out of you. So
Mhm.
that's one of the major things that I love about Les Brown. And I don't know if we have to take another break.
Yes, yes. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. When we come back, we'll continue. And so we'll see you after a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're back and we have more comments. So let's see. Irish Dioso. Good evening, Texas. Mom MJ from Mindoro. Wow, thank you. We have a new viewer as well. We have Rodrigo Fabia. Hello, good day, Mom MJ and Mom Alicia, watching from Pasurubio, Pangasinan. Well, thank you. We have Delia Ligot. Good evening, Texas. Hello, MJ and Miss Alicia. God bless your show. Thank you po, and God bless as well. And we have Chua Juveline. Good morning, Mom MJ, and to your guest. Thank you, Chua Juveline, again, watching from Manila. And we have Ararekil Manungria, Mom Alicia, whatever trials in your life, God is always near you. I think she meant near you. Yes, or hear you. And then Ararekil Manungria, Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. That's very true. Yes. And we have Krisha De Vera, grow through what you go through. Wow. That's very, yeah.
My mother told me that exact quote from when I was young. It's in my book too. Yeah.
Wow. Grow through what you go through. That's amazing. Wow. Thank you to all our viewers for the wonderful comments. And yeah, I mean, Les Brown is like, he is so good that even just listening to your story, he can craft it in a way that is more like impactful and more powerful. And that's just a gift. And he also, like every single one of us, went through a lot of challenges as a kid, right? Like he's got a twin brother, they were adopted, or I know it's just, there's just this story or this experience in our life that I believe we have all a role to play. That's why we were given those experiences, right?
Yeah, that's right. And when you listen to the people that have come before us, whether it's someone in your family, whether it's someone that you hear about that have done some great things, whether in books or through their work in life, we can really learn from their lessons. I think that from Les Brown, the biggest thing that I get is that we have to be able to open up and look at ourselves and put the work in. He always tells us that we need, I'm still fortunate enough to be meeting with him each week as I joined the mastermind program. So he's telling us to do the work, put the work in, take the extra time to learn, to dedicate to ourselves. Don't watch the news. Don't focus on things we have no control over. Instead, focus on the things that matter, how we can help others in the world, how we can make a connection, and how we can make others rise up so that they can make a difference.
Yes, and he says in his book, you've got to be hungry, right?
Yes, that's right. That's
That's
right.
right. You've got to be hungry, hungry for growth, hungry for success, hungry for the good things and the positive things in life. This it's all about a journey. It's not, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We all go through the valleys and hills of life, and there's always going to be adversities, because without those, I mean, we are not sharpened, right? Without
Mm.
adversities. That's how we are sharpened to be a better version of ourselves. It's like for us to become master, like to master this journey called life, we have to go through things. We have to go through those experiences. So we've talked about Les Brown. What about with
Mhm.
Tony Robbins? What are the things that you just really appreciate and learn from him? Because he's also, oh my goodness, he's so energetic. I mean, yeah.
Yes, his energy is beyond me. I can only withstand like one day of Tony Robbins. I can't do anything longer. And I'll be honest, a lot of what he says doesn't affect me. It doesn't inspire me. He tells a story of overcoming how he came from nothing, and everyone has their story. But what I appreciate the most about Tony Robbins is that he has come forward with a plan and a way to communicate with others. He introduces the four powerful archetypes that are within each of us: the
Mhm.
warrior, the magician, the lover, and the sovereign. And when we realize that we may be operating from a certain place, we can then look at the other archetypes in our life and respond differently. So
Mhm.
that, for me, that was really, really cool. If I don't know if you've heard about it, but
I did the Rice Summit. Even
oh,
if it was free. So I was there, yes.
yes, perfect. So that's the thing. And he does that time and time again because it's so valuable. I just love it, and he brings it to life with real people and real stories. So I'll tell you a little thing. So after the Rise Summit, I did it too. I was in a situation where I was at a job, and a person I was dealing with was coming with a different opinion, and I really didn't think it was going to be a way to get through the project. I really didn't agree. So
Mhm.
the part within me that was the warrior could have spoken out and offended the person, but I remembered his teachings, and I thought the sovereign, who was kind of all knowing, that I thought I could really take that and apply it. So I was able to walk away and come
Mhm.
back later with more beneficial solutions that would appeal to that person, and
Mhm.
we had a better outcome. So
Mhm.
that way of thinking was really helpful to me in terms of how to deal with people or situations, and realizing what I was doing before that. I might not have been reacting appropriately.
Wow, that's yeah, because these frameworks or these tools, I like it too, because they're so distinct that you can actually remember it and apply it and actually follow it, and you can totally relate, because as he was telling us about these archetypes, it's like, yeah, you have the lover in you where you are that passionate person and all that, and you have the magician in you where you imagine, and it's like you just create a future that's right.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. I love it too. So from your experience having been trained by these experts and everything, is there like a framework in your life that you have created that you also share to your clients, that you coach, that you share when you speak and all that? And can you tell
Yeah,
us about it?
I do. So I do several things. I do speaker coaching because I love seeing people transform, being able to communicate and use their messages that they have and bring them out in such a way that people can receive them. So I have a speaker coaching framework built into my coaching programs. I also have a framework for podcasting. People who want to start a podcast, I have something for them as
Mhm.
well. And then I also, I kind of put frameworks around everything. Anything that's repeatable, I put something together because I've been a career coach for many years. I've been bridging the gap, helping people to bridge that gap between where they are and where they want to go. And there's always a framework. I think it's that analytical part of me that loves
Yes.
to do that. But I have the frameworks. And for speaking, the framework, actually, for each of these programs, even in my book, it starts with being open and honest with ourselves. We have to get real clear on what it is that we are trying to do. If your goal is to make money, you may not be able to do that doing the thing you want to do. You have to figure out your real goal, not just what you want. If you want more time in your life, you have to figure out how you can get that. It may not mean you're working less, but you spend your time better when you're not working. There's many different ways to look at something. And so the first step is to really open up and be honest with yourself, not doing the things that others think you should do or others tell you to do. I know people from your country who grew up with girls in the family and they had to do what they were told. And the oldest sister, she didn't want to offend the mother or the father, but she ended up leaving and coming back and having to repair the relationships. But she tried to get them to understand that she had to do what was right for her. And sometimes it takes a bold step to go out, be bold, be brave, and see what happens.
Yes, yes, and that's true. And you're right. You have to be honest. You have to know yourself. Because if we don't know ourselves, I mean, we don't know where to start, right? There has to be some awareness of who we are and what we truly want. That's basic. That's the first thing. Because if we don't know where we're at and if we don't know our intentions and our goals in life, there's no way to move forward, right? So that's the basic thing. We have to know what we want. We have to know and to be honest, and we have to really accept who we really are. Because if we know who we really are, our flaws and everything, we know what to change. We know what to improve on. Because if we don't know where to work on ourselves. So it's first self realization, self honesty, and awareness, and that's how we can start and continue.
And if I could, I want to mention this new book that I wrote, and I'm putting it out now. It's available, 25 Essentials to Thrive Beyond 2025. After you get clear, and it's all in here, there's 25 things, of course, but the second one is that you need to think about your emotional resilience. And so oftentimes when we start something, we take someone else's opinion and we let that bother us. And we really can't do that. We really have to do the thing that starts with our own emotions and be able to be resilient. So if you're feeling something, and as women, we typically will do that. We'll take something to heart and we'll feel a certain way about it. And even with our own decisions, we might feel a certain way. So it's important to be able to be resilient and bounce back from those feelings that we feel that might make us act differently or turn away from that thing that's calling us or the thing we're meant to do. I lost 30 years because of that voice, and I wasn't able to stay strong or be strong enough to follow the path. And I was called many times throughout my career to do something more, or with friends who said, hey, why don't you try this or do this thing? I was afraid because I didn't know that I could do it. So it really took a lot of thought to go back and revisit what I did. But it's in this book. So anyone who wants to start a business, or even if you're in a third world country, you can start by making something and connecting with other people to get the resources. There's many nonprofits who can help you do that. I just want to put that out there.
That's amazing. Congratulations. So this is your second book, is that right?
Well,
Or
I have a couple other books too. This is
oh,
my
okay.
fifth book, actually.
Oh, okay.
But the other books are there's a book called Fun Book, which is a book that I wrote with my daughter for kids. That's a book to help teach kids emotional regulation as well.
Mhm.
And I wrote another book, which is not here on the website, but it's on Amazon. It's for ages 8 to 12. And that's another book for them. And then there's the ebook, which is 6 dynamic ways to speak dynamically. So that is something that's free on the website as well, the ebook.
Congratulations. Oh my goodness. You have accomplished a lot. From a child growing up, moved 17 times, had 17 different schools. How did that happen? I mean, God is so good, right? God is really great. He just shows up in our lives in his perfect time. I know we're gonna get there. Let's hold some of that thoughts again because we're gonna go on our last break. It's just getting so good.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we'll be back after a short break.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories. From elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits, I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create magic together.
All right, we're back and we have more comments here that I'm going to read before we continue with your great story. All right, Norma Manangan, good evening po, watching from Posurubio, Pangasinan. And then we have Luz Castaneda, good evening, watching from Tarlac. God bless. Thank you. God bless you as well. We have Gloria, good evening, watching from Singapore. Wow, thank you so much, Gloria. And then we have Mark Carlo De Seco, good evening, Texas, watching from Pangasinan. And we have, okay, I think Alicia, yes, be honest with ourselves. That's very true. And emotional regulation, it's very important. You know, there are different types of intelligence and all that. And I think emotional resilience is very important on how we can overcome all these struggles and trials and tribulations and adversities in life. It's very important because if we don't manage well our emotional state, it can affect everything that we do. It can affect our relationships. It can affect our outlook in life. So it's very important to manage our emotional state. So with that being said, after all these books that you have written and created and all that, I want to know, like, when you go speak in these different settings, like the community or businesses, or when you're doing your one-on-one coaching or speaking to a group and everything, what normally is your biggest thing that actually you use, or what's your signature story or signature message to
Mm.
the people that you try to make an impact to?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't have necessarily one signature message. Often I speak on topics of resilience and growth because in our life, in our career, in our business, you need resilience in order to grow. And so as this latest book is trying to do is give you a playbook to know how to sustain through the challenges that we face. I mean, we've had challenges in our environments, we've had challenges in our personal lives. I hate to see what's coming next. but but
Yeah.
it's true that we need to really think about what is going to help others. And that's my number one question that I ask when I wake up every day. What does the world need from me? And so when I meet with event planners, I ask them, what is your problem? What's your biggest challenge? And then I tailor my speeches around what they need. Usually it lies somewhere in that that resilience and growth arena. I've talked on topics of diversity and inclusion and equity. I've
Mhm.
talked internationally on topics of be your own hero. That one I love, though. I love the
Be
be
your
your own
own hero.
hero.
Yes, yeah.
This is, I've tailored a script for just women or for general public, and I've really loved that one because it's inspirational, motivational. In fact, I'm in Toastmasters right now and I speak as often as I can, and
Mhm.
this week I'm doing an inspirational moment, so I need to come up with something for that. But in general, I love to talk on topics of resilience and growth so that people can really have these actionable insights that will take them further in their lives and save them time so they don't have to lose the 30 years like I did.
Yes. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can contribute to the world, to the community, to others, is like sharing our own experiences, because that way they learn from those experiences. As one of the gurus that I also watch, Ed Milet, he's very good podcaster as well. He says that we are most qualified to help the people or the person we used to be. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what our purpose is. Like, we go through these experiences because through those, I mean, we built or we developed the resilience. And this is how we can help other people that are going through the same challenges. It may be different in different degrees or different situations, but we all come out as overcomers if we get through those challenges, no matter how small or big. We always learn something. And we all can contribute, because I know life is meaningless if we don't try to contribute to the world, right? Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And one of the things in this book I dedicated to the relentless and the resilient, because you have to be steadfast and you have to keep going on your own journey. I know that in here there's a, can I just read a little bit
Oh
from
yes, of course.
one of these chapters?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
in that second chapter, the emotional regulation, it's talking about building emotional resilience is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing practice of strengthening your ability to handle life's up and downs with grace, wisdom, and confidence. As you continue to grow as a leader, as an individual, remember that the emotional resilience is the foundation that will allow you to thrive no matter what obstacles arise. The more you strengthen your emotional muscle, the more equipped you will be to handle life's toughest moments and emerge stronger each time.
Yes. Yes. That's perfectly said. Whew,
And
we've gone through, I think we're both emotionally resilient. I mean, you had your share of, yeah.
we connect for some reasons, that's for sure. And I hear
Yes.
some stories of some other women and the things that they faced, and my heart goes out to them. Some people think, oh, America, it's like this perfect place or this perfect land. But many of us came up in poverty and underprivileged and abused and neglected as well. So it's not to compare. It's to just make it so that we're equal in other ways.
Hmm. Yes, and thank you for boldly sharing, because some people, they try to keep those experiences to themselves because they feel like they belittle themselves. But the truth of the matter is those experiences actually made you for who you are. I mean, I wouldn't be who I am without those experiences. We hear about a lot of people who are born with silver spoon in their mouth and all that, but
Mm.
look at some of them. They don't know the how to react and respond, or to go through the struggles, because they take things easily. They feel like they have the privilege of all things, but so when adversities come, they don't know how to handle them. But for
Mm.
us who grew up in poverty and in those difficult situations, we know how to handle them better because we have built that resilience and relentlessness that you just said, and we can pretty much tackle anything and everything that life will throw at us. And basically, I think we all both believe in God. So God, I think, is the ultimate source of all good things in life. And
Mm,
he may let us or allow us to go through those challenges. It's because he wants to prepare us
mm,
for, for the bigger role that he has, created us for,
mhm,
right? Oh my God, it's been so amazing, Alicia. I've learned so much from you, and I can see this person that really God has guided all through her life, just like me. So I can
mm,
relate. We may have different degrees of difficult experiences and difficult situations, but
mm.
I think we both came out to be overcomers of this life, and we can inspire a lot of other people, a lot of women, children, teenagers, people from all walks of life, to also overcome any challenges that they go through life. So let me ask you, if there's few words or there's a message that you want our viewers to listen from you right now, what would that be?
I want to tell the people watching and listening that you are made for something more. You would not be here if not for the life you are here to live. If you're feeling down, held back, stand up, stand out, because you're here for a reason.
That's right. That's very true. And again, oh my God, it's been so amazing. I wish we have more time, but we still have time. We still have time. So now let me ask you, in 3 words, what are the 3 best words that would describe Alicia, that would describe you?
Hmm. Wow. Well, there's the personal Alicia and then there's the professional Alicia. And so I know that successful is one of them. My 11-year-old the other day was saying that she's proud of me for walking in my truth. I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you do a lot and I'm happy to know that you follow your heart." So to me, that was success in that moment, that she saw that I was living my authenticity. So success is one thing. I say I'm fun as well because I live life. I don't change the mood by something that happens. I can live in the moment. I love nature and I learn from nature as well. That was one of the other things that I'll share. I
Mhm.
love to see the trees, how they come back after the season of losing their leaves. I love all the color and all the lessons we can learn from nature. So those are the 3 things about myself.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we have to connect with nature, right? That's what we need, because like if we enjoy nature, I think we're more appreciative of everything. It's
Mm,
like when
true.
you wake up in the morning, you can get up and even just go in your backyard and barefooted and just step on it and just appreciate the grass and the soil. We connect with nature and we appreciate every single thing that happens to us. I think that's very profound. I love it. You love
Mm.
nature. That's very true. And we have more comments, I think, that we're gonna read the last few comments before we learn who's going to be our winner for tonight. So much wisdom from the guest. Well, thank you. Yes, we've learned so much wisdom. Thank you, Madam. You are so good. Well, yes, thank you. And thank you, Mom Alicia, for sharing your experience and knowledge with us. Yes, yes. And then children will be overcomers, whatever hardships they may encounter in their life, a very good purpose ever. Yes, that's very true. Yes. So we all have a purpose in life. As you have said, Alicia, we are born with greatness. God has created us in his own image. So we may not be as powerful as God, but he had put us in this world to live a meaningful life, to make a difference and to make an impact to other people. So, Alicia, what is your favorite verse? I would love to ask that. I would love for us to close with your favorite verse.
Well, yeah, my favorite verse, it has to be the 13 Corinthians that love is the loved one.
Yes, love is patient, love is kind. Those, yes. Yeah, because
Yes.
love is the most powerful thing of all. You know, if you love people, if then you can pretty much accept them and just be the best person that you can be to the people that you love because you just love them. And love is powerful. And we are God gave his only begotten son because he loves us. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Anyway, let's see who won our game tonight. Let's see. Wow, that's a lot of entries. Oh, wow. Chua Jovelin. Congratulations. Just message me on how you can claim your prize. And I know I remember Tita Delia Ligot Dizon, I think, won last week. I have not gotten a message from you, but yeah, claim your prize. Let me know on my messenger so I can send you your little appreciation. You know, it's not much, but I know that it can make a little bit of difference. So anyway, Alicia, again, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. You truly, truly have inspired us. You truly are very authentic and you have a very powerful story that I'm pretty sure our guests and our listeners have truly learned from. Thank you and God bless you. I know that God has a lot of more things that he has in store for you in this world. And kudos to you and to all the people that you will empower and inspire. And to all our viewers, go out there, live your life to the fullest, be bold. Why not? See you next time.